يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، خير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's the only one worthy of praise. I seek His help, His guidance, and His forgiveness. I believe in Him and I trust Him. I seek refuge on Almighty Allah from the evil of our passions. Indeed, whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides him to al-Islam, no one can mislead him after Allah. And whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put him astray, no one can guide him after Allah. I testify openly that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah Rabbil Alameen. And I testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his messenger and the seal of all the prophets. O Muslims, you must know that the best speech is the speech of Almighty Allah, which is the Quran. The best guidance is the course of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which is his sunnah. The worst of all affairs is innovation and addition to the religion of Islam. Indeed, every addition to the religion of Islam will lead to hellfire. I adjure you as well as myself to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the best of your ability. Fear Allah and don't die unless you are Muslims. After this, I greet you all with the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessing of Almighty Allah be with you all. I'd like to welcome those who are in the Islamic Center of Columbia, South Carolina, as well as those who are listening on Adly.net to our Tarbiyah class. And this class constitutes class number 14, which we're talking about Tarbiyah ala manhaj Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Tarbiyah according the methodology and the way of the people of Sunnah and the people of Jama'ah, people of unity, people who go according the understanding of the Sahaba and they stick together to be united. As I stated before, this kind of class is very important for every father and every mother, for every imam and director of a Muslim community. It is a class that every person who is concerned about upbringing the future generation, to listen to it, to understand it, and to reflect on it and to try to implement it to the best of his or her ability. It's so amazing that you see people concerned about different experiments and tests, bacteria, germs, plants, mice, rabbits, And they study many things about how to bring about different genes or a better product. As a result of this, they study the environment. They study everything, the light, the darkness, the water, the oxygen, the temperature, everything. Because they know that all these things has effect and impact in everything. That they try to bring it and make it grow or produce. And it's so strange that the man who working with all these things is not thinking about the same environment and the same thing required for raising the man who raised everything else. But the difference between the upbringing of a bacteria or a mice or a rabbit or a goat is so important to the people. But the people who raise the rabbit and the goat, it seems they don't have too much concern about how they're supposed to come to a better life, better understanding, better dealing. The two different things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had allowed and make means and ways available for mankind to study the environment, about upbringing anything, plants, trees, fish, frogs, bacteria, medicine. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the means and the ways available and for the man to study and to try to understand how to bring the best solution and the best result. But for a man, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care because it's out of His mercy. He's the creator. And no one can know about the creation better than the creator. And the spirituality of a human being could not be understood by his own mind, because you never can take your heart or your mind to a lab. You may take your mind and your heart to a lab to know the numbers of beating or pumping blood or thoughts and ideas, but you could not know what does it benefit the heart. You could not know about the food and the proper feeding of this mind and this heart. So Allah, out of His mercy, He took care of this job by sending books and sending prophets for this purpose. Because Allah concerned about the upbringing of the human being, to be the right Khalifa in this earth, and to be the right Abdullah and the right Amatullah. Allah sends the laws, and Allah didn't allow this to be experiments, because you could not experiment on a human being, because you don't know his heart, you don't know his mind, you don't know his thinking, you don't know what can be good for him or not. And this is the problem, the failure of the societies and so-called civilization, that they try to make a law and means for mankind to live. They try to be a partner to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah already had took care of this by sending prophets and messengers and revealing books for one purpose: how to bring about a tarbiyah and a raising up and elevation of this human being, and how to bring him to the tazkiyah and the purification of the hearts. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in all these lines of the prophet and messengers, and all these lines of revelation, with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and with the Quran, and the job of the imams, the teachers, the da'iyah, the parents, is nothing but studying and understand the book of Allah, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they try to implement it to the best of their ability. Not to deviate, not to invent, because it's not going to help. It's not going to bring about any good result. It's going to bring about destruction. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already had took care of it. And the nourishment and the upbringing of a human being to be Abdullah, not to be Abdul Dunya, and by being Abdullah will be the best way to go about everything. To obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to try to do the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To be Abdullah when you are a husband, to be Abdullah when you are a wife, to be Abdullah when you are a teacher, you be Abdullah when you are a businessman, in whatever capacity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a means and ways for everything in you. Islam talks about your body and the rights of your body. Islam talks about the food that you nourish yourself with it, and the means and the income, because it's not only the food, how you earn it is very important, because it's going to affect your dua. It's going to block your dua to be answered. You may eat the right food, but earn it through haram means. Alaykum salam. So it will be a problem between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, but Islam was not trying to raise up as cows and cattle, concerned only about our body and our health, but was concerned also about our hearts. Talks about the sin, and talks about the effect and the impact of sin on the hearts. Also, Islam was concerned about our thinking and our ideology and our belief. So brought about how to raise up a generation that really believe in Allah and in Allah alone. About Tawheed. Not Allah and the system, not Allah and the government, not Allah and the constitution, not Allah and the majority vote. No, Allah, He is the one. So Islam came with a tarbiyah and a discipline and guidelines for the mind, for the heart, for the body, for everything. And like I said, our job is to listen and they try to understand and they try to implement. And this will be the only way we can bring about a better society, a better citizen, a better neighborhood, a better family, a better children. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to grow, and anything growing is going to be our body and our greed, but this is not what leads you. You need something before your body, and this is your heart. Because this was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had told us. He said, ألا إن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح سائر الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد سائر الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. Indeed, there is a piece of flesh in the body. If it's good, the whole body will be good. If it's corrupted, the whole body will be corrupted. Indeed, this is the heart. You call the Habib? Okay, you okay? Anybody feel that is cold here? All right. So it is very important we know about what does Islam want from the tarbiyah. Islam is not a religion to fill your mind with information only, but inform you and discipline you, teaches you and implementing the teaching. And that's what we see again, why somebody like those Sahaba, and specifically somebody like Ibn Umar, memorizing Surah Al-Baqarah in 8 years. Today we have children who already 8 and 10 years and finish the whole Quran. And there is a big difference between a tape recorder, you playing and saying the whole Quran, and a human being memorize the whole Quran, and a human being who lives the Quran. So the way of the Sahaba. They used to learn the 10 verses from the Quran. They try to live it, implement it, and after this they will go what? For another 10 verses. Now this is the reason that some of them took 8 years or more to memorize a surah like Surah Al-Baqarah, because they lived the Quran. Okay? And when we observe their life, we can see how these people really used to prefer others over themselves, even if themselves are in need for whatever that they given to others. Alhamdulillah, we had covered already the tarbiyah al-aqaidiyah, tarbiyah on the aqidah, and we started to talk about a tarbiyah al-fikriyah, which intellectual tarbiyah. Today we have a different part in the tarbiyah al-fikriyah, intellectual tarbiyah, but today we want to talk about issues that we want to raise our children, our families, our mosques, or to understand these principles are wrong. Doesn't matter who is saying it. And for us to stay away from this kind of understanding. There is certain ideology, okay, that's been taught by some people, okay? There is different tarbiyah, which we call it the tarbiyah al-fikriyah, the intellectual tarbiyah. A principle that you have to pass it to your children, to your followers, so they can have it like a target and goal they try to reach to it soon or later. But in the same time, while you're teaching them about good things, you have to tell them that there is other things that you need to stay away from it. Okay? We have approximately about 16 of these principles that we need to understand that we need to stay away from it. One of the most important thing among some masajid and groups, okay, because you have a different groups wherever you go, in any country, alright? Wherever you go in any country, you hear about different movements and different leaders, and some of them that is so popular, and the leaders, they understand, is well known, and they have books, and they have DVDs and CDs and lectures. We don't want to name any so nobody feels that we are pointing fingers to anybody. But some of these movements and these jama'at and these communities, they raise people on something which is very dangerous. That they raise their people that not care too much for the aqidah, the belief of Allah, believing in the oneness of Allah, believe in the angels, believing in real resurrection after death. As a result of this, they focus about other things in Islam. But when it comes to the matter of aqidah, they maybe best, you understand, they consider like an issue which is already known to every Muslim. Brother, why we discussing aqidah? We already born Muslim. We in Islamic country. There is no need to talk. Who doesn't know that Allah exists? Who doesn't know that Allah is there? You see? As if it's something is so, you don't need even to discuss it. Okay? So now they're going to talk to you about, or they teach you aqidah, but the tawheed al-rububiyyah. That Allah is al-khaliq, Allah is al-raziq, okay? Allah is the provider, Allah is the creator, okay? But they don't go beyond this. They did not teach you about Asma'ullah or the attributes of Allah, or affirming to Allah whatever He described Himself in the Quran. Okay? And they feel even talking about the qualities of Allah or the names of Allah like a matter of deviation. To such a degree that if you ask somebody the question, Ayn Allah, where is Allah? They say, what's wrong with you? How you can ask? Everybody know. Where is Allah? What you talking? Why you asking him a question like this? This is not even a question to ask somebody. The birds, the dogs, everybody knows that Allah exists. Allah is everywhere, brother. You see? This is their attitude. But if you ask them, why I could not ask such a question? The Prophet ﷺ, he himself, he asked this question. When one of the Sahaba, he got mad and he slapped his slave girl. And he felt bad later on about what he did. So he went and reported this to the Prophet ﷺ. He told him, I'm a human being like anybody else. She was not paying attention to my property, and the wolf came and snatched one of the sheep. You know, he understands this. Consider a big money for him. This is a sheep, he can sell it, make a good money, he can eat every day by drinking the milk. So he got mad, he slapped her on her face. And you know, this is, when we come up with the tarbiyah, how to raise your children, this is something done a lot, especially overseas. They hit the children on their face. Teachers in the school, mothers, fathers, okay? And this is haram. You could not spit somebody's face. You could not slap somebody in the face. You could not even fight. When you fight him, you could not hit him in the face. Because this is a place which Allah made it honorable. So, the man, he said, O Prophet of Allah, I'm a human being like anybody. I got mad. I slapped her. I know I did wrong, but I feel bad about it. The Prophet said, go bring this woman. When the Prophet ﷺ saw the girl, he told her, where is Allah? Ayn Allah? فأشارت إلى السماء. She pointed to the sky. And in another narration, he said, في السماء. He's above the seven heaven. He said, who I am? He said, you are the messenger of the one on the above the heaven. So he said to the man, her master, free her, أعتقها فإنها مؤمنة. Free this girl, she is a believing woman. She deserves, you understand? You want to make expiation for your mistake? You want to correct your mistake? Let her go, free. Okay? But today, if you ask somebody or teach somebody about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, establish himself above the seven heaven, upon his throne, people think you crazy. When you read, you understand about the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, you found some people, they're supposed to be great scholars, yet changing the hand of Allah to mean the power of Allah, and the ascending of Allah, descending of Allah means that the mercy of Allah is coming. Keep it changing. Why? Allah already said in the Quran, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is similar to Allah. Nothing similar to Allah in His essence, neither nothing similar to Allah in His attributes and quality. And we give a simple example. If you ask somebody, are you alive? Are you alive? Muhammad, are you alive? Is Allah alive? Yes. But does not mean that we have the same terminology. Allah is living or Allah's life and I'm alive, that my life is equal to Allah or the life of Allah equal to my life. You understand? I have to breathe, I need air, I need water, I need food. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need anything. But we say, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no true God but Him, the living. So Allah call Himself Al-Hayy. And I am Hayy. But my Haya is not similar to Allah. You see? So the same way Allah said to Iblis, what's wrong, Iblis? Why you didn't prostrate to the one that I create with my own hand? Say, no. There is nothing called hand. Allah doesn't mean hand, but He needs power, means power. How do you know? How do you know He meant something else? You see? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in another verse, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Allah is able to do all things. There is qudra, and there is a power, and there is a hand, and there is will. And all of them different from each other. So you found some of these movements, well-known and established movements, goes from the east to the west to go everywhere to preach in Islam. They never talk about Asma'ullah, Sifatullah, names of Allah, attributes of Allah, because they feel this is not important, or this is confusion issues, and we don't want to get into it, and they keep telling you about